Ravens and the Jags. Ravens on the road as 3.5 to 4 point favorites. 43.5 is your total. Starting to see this come off the 4. This was sitting for 3.5, starting to pop out there. So Jags getting a little bit of support in the market as these limits start to go up here on a Wednesday. Again, recording this earlier in the week so you can get this, so you can try and ingest this over your holiday here. So, Steven, look, here's the deal with the Ravens. They came out of the bye last week. I expected them to look a whole lot better. They looked like garbage coming out of the bye. Didn't even get in the end zone until about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter last week against a Panthers team that, again, probably bottom 3 in everybody's power ratings that there is on the face of the planet. So, the Ravens are good. I just don't know how good. Are they 4 points better than the Jags, even though the Jags have disappointed all year long on the road? Like, this is a very confusing game for me, a very revealing game for me as well, because I'm going to watch this one very intently because I got to find out if this Ravens team is actually a contender or not, right? I'm like, this is where you go in and you say, okay, on the road against a Jags team that we should be able to beat and should be able to beat at semi-margin. Can they get it done? But no bet for me in this one at all. Like, this was one of the very first games I scratched off because I just don't know 100% what we're getting out of this Ravens team right now.
I have a season-long whiskey bottle bet with multiple members of our staff at TheLines.com that the Bengals will finish higher in the standings than the Ravens will. And it's starting to get a little interesting here, isn't it? With the Bengals getting healthier, playing better, the Ravens not exactly being consistent week to week. And you know, Matt, that I have been higher on the Jaguars than anybody on our staff this year, and I see no reason not to back them again this week as a home dog at more than a field goal. And it appears the market agrees with me on this one. I bet this earlier in the week at 4.5. I think anything at 3.5 or better is fine. The Jaguars offense, 11th in offensive EPA against the Ravens defense. That's 17th in defensive EPA. The Jags offense, 6th in overall success rate, 6th in passing success rate. The Ravens, 19th and 20th in those two categories, respectively. Yards per play, also better than the Ravens defense. So Jacksonville's going to score points in this game. And I know that the Jaguars defense has not exactly been elite, but they've been around league average. They are slightly above average in pressure rate. I think they do enough here to stay inside the number as long as their damn kicker doesn't screw me again like they did against Kansas City. Otherwise, I would have been inside that number as well. So perhaps at some point we can have a discussion on how we handicap kickers. But short of that, I feel pretty confident in this cover.
Adam, a Ravens squad that, if you look at some people, think that maybe they've got enough to contend in the AFC. I'm not quite there. I think that they're a top 10 team in the NFL. Doesn't take much to be that in this day and age, but I'm going to need to see it this week. What say you in this one?
I disagree very much with the idea that the Jaguars are going to be able to score points against this Ravens defense, which over the last 4 weeks is number 2 in EPA per play allowed. And if there's one way that I would go in this game, it would be under. It's the only play that I would have. And frankly, I'm going to be honest, a lot of the numbers that I normally would look at don't necessarily support me, but I look at the matchup of these two teams and see that the Jacksonville Jaguars last 4 weeks are top 10 in the league in EPA per play allowed against the rush. I think it's the only way that the Ravens are going to be able to move the ball is by running it and by running it with Lamar. And again, when you face Lamar Jackson, you have to look at the rush EPA statistics a little bit with a grain of salt just because they run the ball so differently than most other teams do. But on the other side of this game, I really don't know that the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be able to get a lot done. I think the addition of Roquan Smith has made the second level of this Baltimore defense a lot better. They're about to add Owe and back into this thing. Like, I ultimately look at this as an underplay, even at a fairly low number, because I'm not convinced either one of these teams is going to be able to push it. The market has agreed with me thus far, 46.5 down to 44 or 43.5.